Ladies and gentlemen of the courtroom, I'm representing Mousey Montana and Jay Doe today. These gentlemen are both hardworking and reputable members of the community. Jay and Mousey both have very, very reputable sources, and they have given me the opportunity to give and take brilliant character references on their behalf. I've spoken to two members of the community, both agreeing and both declaring that both these gentlemen have given back to the community in many ways other than Jay donating money to Mr. Chow's business to fund him, to take him out of homeless, and he's also given money to help to take people off the street and into apartments. Mousey has changed his life around from being a small boy and growing up in crime to helping Jay form this business. And Allah! Upon that, I'm going to be asking as my first witness, I'll be asking Mr. Roberts to come to the stand and answer a few questions.
Mr. Roberts, before we continue, I need to read you something that you must listen to. I do solemnly and sincerely and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give you shall be the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, proceed.
Now, Mr. Roberts, you expressed that you had a warrant already signed and dated by yourself. This is correct?
That's correct.
And you left it at the station. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, for a man of your stature and a man that is of high reputation in the force, was this a normal thing to do, or is this just a sincere lack of judgment that you have just maybe forgot to bring the warrant with yourself?
So obviously normal procedures, we do bring the warrant and obviously give them to the suspects at the time. Obviously, unfortunately for myself, because of the nature of the call, there was guns and stuff on scene, we made it a priority to head down there as quickly as we can. There was a fair few, obviously. There are sections 19 and potentially 17 of the PACE that we could obviously attend quicker for either threats of life or to seize any items. Now, obviously, the warrant was placed and it was unfortunately left on the desk. So, of course, this is not normal procedure for me. I normally bring it with me, but due to the nature of the call being guns and stuff like that, we take it very serious. And that's why it was more of a let's get down there as quickly as we can and prevent any further crime than, you know, making sure the paperwork was in the place, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. And with this call, this anonymous call that's come, what was the nature of it? What was the...
I will read the notes exactly as it says. Also, the display. So it reads, at Del 5 Safe House, postcode 176, lots of guns and bricks of weed. And it was from a anonymous person going by a 273. That's all we know. Okay.
Lots of bricks of weed and guns. Now, when you were searching the premises, would you say there is, if you're looking from the outside gate, could you see into the building and know on yourself and your belief that there is weapons and guns inside that building?
From the outside of the building, no, that's correct.
So this call could potentially have been a hoax call to maybe incriminate my clients. Yes or no?
Correct.
Correct. And this warrant, okay? So you're going in there under which section?
We were going in there under section 16, section 8 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, and section 47. There were the charges that obviously there were the sections that we were going. Yep. And of course, obviously, if needed, then it would be section 17 if there was intent or threat of life, and of course, section 19.
Yeah, section 19, power to seize. Your Honour, to my knowledge, section 17 is a threat to life. With the call that Mr. Roberts has just stated to myself there, that call doesn't say that there's any threat to life. And the warrant was not given to my clients, which is, on police procedure, a copy of the warrant should be given to them. So, potentially, these officers are trespassing. Yes, to section 19, they have gone there with the intent to seize goods. Yeah, it is still valid. The power to seize in the proceeds of crime is still there. But to enter a property unlawfully, in my account, and the jury and everyone here witnessing, is going to be trespassing. Do you not agree, Mr. Roberts?
I would like to step on that, actually, because as you've just stated, the from looking from the outside, you cannot see what is inside. Okay. Now, when we did attend inside, there was actually confirmation that the call was correct. Now, if you're turning around to me and saying that you can't see what's inside from the outside, then this caller may well be inside the building. Now, he may well have called up because he was a hostage in there. He may well have been in there, been threatened and come out, and he's obviously used that. Now, let's be honest, anyone from Del 5 is not going to snitch on their own gang and their own place. So it's got to be someone from the outside that would be making this call. And this outside person would have had to have gone inside the warehouse in order to see it. So would you agree that this could there could be a hostage, could be anything?
I'm not denying that. What I am going to ask you is a further question to yourself. When you arrived on scene, was the doors unlocked?
The gate was unlocked, and when we attended, the shutters also come up with us. There must be sensors on the gates and the on the what's it called? Lockers.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Robert.
Yes.
You say you have witnesses.
Obviously, it's my officers that all attended. There was, I believe, 13 armed response units that attended at scene. So they were the witnesses at the time of the raid.
Okay.
And we've all got body cam footage from that. I also have, obviously, all of the photo evidence that I have posted within our bulletin for everyone to see. So if everyone wants to, obviously, take a look at the bulletin that I posted, they will be able to see all of the photos that we have seized and obviously have taken for evidence.
Themselves? I don't want to just shout
at this time. If there's no further questions for me, I'd like to step back and obviously allow the defence to continue.
Okay, I'm more than happy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, my clients, as everybody knows, are here to defend themselves in the arts of they are a prop business. Now, I want to reevaluate and the fact that they had a contract with a certain company in regards to the props that were making in the facility. They had a £200,000 contract in place, which was easy them to make all props that were found in said premises. Now, my clients are looking for compensation. They have been out of business for 11 days with a total number of staff of under 15. I believe the actual amount is 13 members of staff that have been without work for 11 days. So we are looking to press some compensation for this. Also, to bring 2 members of the community and business owners, there is obviously going to be a slight defamation of character. They are 2 hardworking business men. So obviously this may be an impact on their company and their reputation in the city.
If we could get the first defendant, Mousey Montana.
Go up to the stand, Mouse.
Good evening. Before we continue, I must read you something. I do solemnly and sincerely and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, Your Honour.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Have we got a Mr. Biggs in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I call you up to the stand and represent Mouse in a character reference? You know, this is Biggs. Mouse's first reference.
My hearing aids are just broke, so I'm listening through someone's eyes in it, so it's a bit peak.
Mr. Biggs, can you hear me?
Yes, mate.
Okay, I must read you something before we continue. I do solemnly and sincerely and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
All right, then, mate.
Perfect.
What does he want me to do?
Read out your character reference for Mouse that you gave me, NJ.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm listening through someone's eyes. I do apologise. So, Mr. Mouse, I met Mr. Mouse at a young age. He come to me in another city with Jay, looking to get involved in the music industry. I used to own a record label around there. And basically, they was around me doing a few jobs, bits and pieces. They found out about the music video stuff, asked me about getting into that. and then from there they just went and made their own opportunities and their own business from it in this city. Filming music videos with props, renting out props to music industries and stuff like that.
How would you describe Mr. Mouse?
A kind-hearted individual. He grew up in a shit place, but he's changed his life around in the time that I've known him.
And to your best knowledge, would you say that Mr. Montana is a criminal? Has he been ever involved in some kind of activities, or would you say that he's been a hard-working
he's a
individual?
shitbag, but he's not a criminal. He works hard, mate. He provides for his family. He works hard.
Hey, you be good.
Thank you, Mr. Biggs. It's your questions now.
Okay, Mr. Montana,
Yes, boss.
it's fantastic to hear you're such a kind and respectful guy within the community and giving out money away for the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Do you remember the last time you was arrested?
No, you'll have to jog me.
You
memory,
don't.
boss.
Okay. So last time we arrested you, let me just get it up 2 seconds. So the last time you was arrested was 20 hours previous to us raiding your apartment. You pleaded guilty for robbery of Angelico and received 49 months in prison. This doesn't sound like a kind and respectful community man. If you have a legitimate business making good money, why would you need to commit crime?
I was just a getaway driver, boss, doing a favour.
Just a getaway driver, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I like
This
to
one-
help out my friends and one of my
Big's all
friends
good,
needed a
brother.
favour.
needed a favour, okay. So you were also arrested for taking a police officer hostage on the 31st of the 12th, 21, and further arrested on the 16th of the 12th, 21, at 23:47 for assaulting an armed officer and pleading guilty to both charges. A respectful and loving community member, you say?
Yeah. Got a bad temper, what can I say? Doesn't mean I'm not a good guy.
Okay. Your Honour, while raiding the apartment, while raiding the warehouse, we found a large amount of plants, marijuana leaves, and packaged drugs, which at the time we were unsure whether they are real or not. We sent this away for testing, and I would like to read out our verdict. Within the large amount of drugs we seized,
Halloween.
we found small amounts of marijuana seeds, believed to be purple haze, hidden inside the plant pot. We also found segments of marijuana stashed within the packages, which were made to look like large quantities of drugs used in foam and paint, which is maybe where they're to come from. The amount of drugs we found would actually constitute to a production of drugs and intent to supply, rather than the mass production we initially bailed them for. So,
I know, Matthew,
Mr. Montana, with the test results coming back showing a small amount of drugs rather than the initial mass amount of drugs that we originally found, could you care to explain how a reputable
110s,
growing
by the way.
business would need to have such items on site?
As you said, they were large quantities of foam and paint, which is what we thought they were. We didn't have any idea there was actual drugs involved.
Okay, so what happens?
Fucking no
The
clue,
props
bro.
that you have, where do they come from? Do you make them
Well,
on site, or
We do, yeah, we do, but we've had a little bit of an issue with our staff as of late. There's been some staff members that have come and gone, so me and Jay don't really get our hands dirty with making of the product. We're just the heads of the organisation, do you know what I mean? So
so you're saying they could well have been planted from other people?
could have been planted by other people, or I don't know, maybe your officers. Are all your officers up to scratch?
Absolutely. Obviously, law abiding. Have we got interjection there?
Yeah. You previously stated in your statement that the doors were unlocked when entering the premises. Could the person that made the call may have not planted the drugs on my client's props?
Again, obviously, we're just attending on scene with the items there. Like you say, it could well have been, but this is why we're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Was there any
Obviously, there were
fingerprints on the
found-
plants?
We didn't find any fingerprints on the plants. No,
That the person could have been wearing gloves.
it could well have been. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please continue.
Your Honour, on the 10th of the 12th, 21 at
Are you planted?
21:20, Mr. Montana was arrested and jailed for intent to supply, where my officers found 53 bags of purple haze and a hatchet. He was caught red-handed trying to sell drugs to locals on Dorset Drive. He was then further arrested on the 15th of the 12th at 15th of the 12th, 21 at 21:44 and pleaded guilty for a further 35 months in prison for intent to supply and in possession of illegal drugs. With this in mind, it would be a fair statement to say that Mr. Montana was potentially knows about the growing and the supply of the drugs inside of his warehouse from the previous charges and the current intent to supply that we'd be trying to push for today.
Can I just say something in my defense?
Yep.
What are we going to do with seeds and tiny bits of marijuana?
So as you can see, obviously within inside your building, you were making props with plants.
Mouses.
You were
Yeah, I think
making
mouses.
marijuana leaves. Obviously, we've got intelligence of how things are certainly made and stuff like that. But I'm sure, obviously, marijuana seeds start from the ground and work your way up. This is why you're having a charge of production of illegal drugs, because it's the starting process, and then obviously you're growing them potentially, and then obviously you're using the growth of your plants and then selling them on the other end. Hence why you've been charged twice in the past for intent to supply and selling to locals with possession of drugs on you. So unless you're getting them from other sources, we've obviously found parts on site, and we may believe that they've obviously come from there.
Well, them dates of when I got caught with them, I weren't in the right place. I was broke. I was in a bad place mentally, you know. Got hit up by a guy, unknown guy. He gave me an opportunity to sell some drugs to get back on my feet, and I got caught.
Okay.
But I can say with all truth that I did not grow that weed.
Okay, so could it well be that if you've been shafting people in and out, could it well be people that were on site, they're growing it behind your back, and then you're taking it and supplying it?
No, the guy I got the weed off has no association with Del 5 in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Your Honor, within the compound, we also found 25 Croix watches. We sent these off to Vangelico for checking of authenticity and whether they were illegal or not. Again, I would like to announce the test results. When we're testing the 25 Croixes, 22 of them were actually fake props. 3 of them were matching serial numbers from ones that were reported from Vangelico. Mr. Montana, on the 21st of the 12th, 21 at 16:42, you were caught at Evangelico with 5 other associates holding a knife to a hostage and robbing the store. You were later arrested on the incident after trying to switch in a friend's car and you crashed. You were then further arrested, as stated, on the 8th of the 1st, roughly 20 hours previous to us raiding your apartment for robbery of Evangelico, after you decamped multiple times and attempted to stab an officer resisting arrest. You again pleaded guilty to both of them charges. So my question to you, Mr. Montana, these stolen watches we've found in the compound, would they be ones from the crimes that you have failed to be caught in? Or are they ones that your associates have managed to get away and they've given to you after?
Them watches have nothing to do with me. Every time I've done Evangelico, I've been caught, as you know, them 2 occasions.
What about your other associates on the site, though? Were they...
the other
have they
associates are
all
just
been
workers.
caught as well?
No,
So
they're
you-
just like. Do you mean at the jobs?
So as in,
Evangelico jobs?
we've got 2 Evangelicos here. We've got
Yeah.
3 stolen watches on your site that were from Evangelicos. Could it well be that if you've done 2 of them Evangelicos, maybe not all 6 of you have got away, or sorry, not all 6 of you have been caught, and them watches may have come from them jobs? And if so, why are they still on your property if you're a reputable company?
That's impossible because the people who I'd done them jobs with are not associated with Del 5 also. I was also drafted into those jobs by outside people, random people.
Okay, we've got an ejection.
Just a question. When he was searched after each Evangelico, was anything found on him relating to the watches?
Bear with me 2 seconds. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, I cannot clarify what he was actually caught with on scene at the time. So I can neither confirm or deny whether he had watches on him when he was arrested.
Okay, so just to confirm, my client, Your Honour, when he was arrested for this, as he stated, as just a getaway driver, he had no connection to these watches. And as previously stated by Mr. Roberts, the door was unlocked with no no forced entry into the premises. And there was potentially, I'm assuming there's no fingerprints relating to my client on those watches?
Again, no.
It's kind of looking like this may be a planted kind of scene. Do you not agree, Mr. Roberts?
Again, obviously, it's their warehouse. If they're not locking the doors, again, of course, you may have people going in and out. We don't know that. We've literally just attended the scene and found what we found, and then obviously prosecuting and trying to gather the evidence needed. But again, would you agree that? Same with a house, really. If you're the one that's the owner of the house, you make sure that it's locked at all times. There's nothing going in or out, anything that could be stolen out of there or even planted. Would you not agree?
I would make an effort to make sure that everything that I touch is associated with my person, is my property, yes.
Okay, so obviously, again, leaving doors, locks unlocked, etc., is making them open to anything of such type. And it would be their responsibility to have whatever's inside there. It is their responsibility.
Yeah, I agree. Also, to interject once more regarding the props, I know I've spoken to Mr. Doe on an occasion. He stated that they make, with watches, they make their own, but obviously with making props, Your Honour, there is gradings in regards to realism. So sometimes the quality has to improve, but I'm not too sure where these watches are. My clients have disclosed all information regarding to the making and designing their own products used for props, movies, and music videos.
So, of course, obviously, we've seen that these watches there's a couple that are stolen. Did mention previous that you like to give out to the community and share money, etc., and obviously give out gifts. Were the watches part of your gifts that you give out to the community, Mr. Montana?
No, so what we give back to the community is usually charitable donations. We don't really give gifts as such. The gifts we speak of are usually charitable donations of money.
Donations of money, okay. Potential money that may have been from drugs and stuff that we found on site, or from your legitimate business, as you say?
Well, we've got the legitimate business, and then on the side, I do bin man. I'm a bin man, do you know what I mean?
You're a bin man,
I've got
okay.
money. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Your Honour, my final question to Mr. Montana would be based around the bank cards we found on the desk upstairs. We found a Pacific bank card and a Humane Heist. Upon check-in with both locations, only Pacific bank card was valid. I would like to just ask Mr. Montana how we come across such an item.
I was unaware of this bank card you speak of. I've never seen it before, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, obviously there are yourself and a couple of other people that own the business and on site. Yeah. I just wanted to ask your opinion of it.
Can I ask the name on the bank card?
There is a Pacific bank card. I have actually put a picture, if you want to take a look in your eyes, on the bulletin. There is actually a picture of both cards. If you want to take a minute or two to check.
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds.
Let me see.
For anyone else that wants to see as well, there is on the bulletin in the main Bluetooth all the pictures that we found. If you want to take a look and refresh yourself on.
These are good
I've never seen that
content,
before in my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Never seen that before, no? Okay.
No.
So, Your Honour, just to give you some context on the bank cards, on the 27th of the 12th at 21. At 2015, Mr. Montana was part of an armed bank robbery where unfortunately 3 out of 5 suspects burned alive. Mr. Montana was one of the lucky ones who escaped and ended up decamping in their vehicle and being caught on foot. He then pleaded guilty to armed robbery of a bank.
Again, I was a getaway driver drafted in.
Okay.
I did not enter the premises of the bank at any time.
No further questions for Mr. Montana at the time. I would like to call up Mr. Doe, if possible, please.
Roses are red and violets are blue. One's in a blunt and one's in a zoo. 2 in the front and 1 in the boot. Just give me the drop and I'll bring it to you. Turbo spin this motor, I see me a up, but I think they spotted this whip. Let me jump up quick, see I'm swerving dip to avoid.